Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 4, Episode 11, and the name of this episode is A Porch Light. Man, this episode was lit, y'all. And again, I'm sorry this review is late, but hey, I was partying. My birthday was on the 17th, so I was out, again, feeling fine on cloud nine, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I had me a good old time, and I also like to thank everyone who's been following me, who actually sent me the birthday wishes. I greatly appreciate all of them. But yes, let me get into this review because this episode gave me life. All right. We first start off in the episode. Natalie, Esperanza, and Marcy are outside talking. They're pretty much talking about the aftermath of what went down at Randall's house because they all saw Eddie, strapped up in S&M gear. So they talking about stuff, and then the next thing they're all talking outside. Next thing you know, they hear the gunshots go off. And we saw that from the last episode when Eddie came downstairs and they were taunting him, saying like, "Here she is, the belle of the ball, in her debut, was taunting the hell out of Eddie." Eddie took Lucian's gun and started firing off, but he doesn't shoot nothing but the couch. He doesn't shoot anybody but the couch. And Lucian literally knocks his ass down and gets his gun back from him. He's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You crazy?" He's like, "Hell yeah, you know I'm crazy. What the hell? You think I'm gonna take this shit lying down?" And he's going, and like Eddie is going back and forth with Larry and with Randall. And Randall's like, "Yeah, you shot my damn couch. You need to get the hell out of my house." He's like, "No, I need to put a damn bullet right here, like I should have did a while back, but I'm going to get your ass." So he willfully admitted that he tried to kill Randall before. And then Larry is just loving it. He's like, "Ooh, I'm loving it. Get mad. I'm loving this. I'm going to break you, baby. I'm going to break you, Stallion." And he was like, "Stallion?" Well, he says, "Well, I actually seen your stallion. Your stallion actually looks like a baby horse." Actually said, "Your stallion actually looks like a baby pony." I was like, "Larry, you don't go somewhere with that bullshit." So he's going back and forth taunting them. And Larry and Eddie pretty much lets him know, "I'm going to fucking kill you, I'm going to kill your asses. I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to come for you first, Larry. And yeah, I'm going to find your wife, and I'm going to fuck that bitch up." And then like Larry's like, "Bring it on, baby. Do what you going to do." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Bye, Betty." I was like, Randall. Psycho Betty's your name. Don't be calling Eddie no damn Betty. You the only Betty on this show because you have bitch tendencies that are out of this world. So yeah, you may have had him as, I'll call him Belle. How about that? Yeah, he's all like, "Bye, Betty. Bye-bye." They were just having fun just taunting him because both him and Larry had fun with Eddie. I mean, they did all kind of things with Eddie. And we pretty much seen outside because once he comes out, he tells, because we see that Esperanza, Marcy, and Natalie are still outside. He walks up like, "Haven't you guys seen enough? The show's over." I'm like, oh, he just in his feelings. Like, he's literally in his feelings, because they done put him out there. And they done have fun with him, which I really think Eddie probably does get down with the get down, but Eddie likes to be in control. In this situation, they had control over him. So I think that's what really is pissing Eddie off the most, that they had control over him. But yeah, all of a sudden we see that finally Lucian comes out and him and Natalie are about to go home, and then all of a sudden we see damn Stevens pops up. Stevens on his motorcycle and shit, got the whole leather gear and everything, and I'm like, oh, it don't look like Stevens is on the clock right now. But he was like, what the heck you doing? Because Lucian was like, what's going on here? He's like, I heard something going down in the neighborhood. I just wanted to check it out. And like Lucian's like, check it out looking like you looking right now. He's like, well, hey. And then the next thing you know, him and Esperanza starts talking. And he begins to share the tea that, I'm not here. She's like, she's like, so why are you here? Are you here because of, the Travis shooting? She's like, oh no, I'm not here about Travis. I'm here about Eddie because everybody down at the precinct know about it. So Eddie is about to get a rude awakening when he go to work. He gonna be the talk of the office, and he gonna be the clown of the day. They gonna roast the hell out of him at work because he's talking about. He's like, yo, we saw, everybody's talking about, how he was like tied up in S&M and all this shit, and him and Esperanza go back and forth, and we can definitely tell Esperanza is feeling him, and she's really turned on, but you know how Esperanza is. She's a messy bitch, so she's playing games and all that, and then all of a sudden, she begins to let him know after, because at first, Natalie and Lucian was there, but then they eventually leave, and then the two of them talking, and then once they leave, she's like, first of all, don't when she so pretty much she plays hard to get or whatever. He's constantly flirting with her, and she's like, no, stop it. You don't mean that. I'm like, Esperanza, if you don't stop playing, you stupid bitch. You want him. The hell you playing around for? But then, he's saying that, he wants to come over, but she tells him no. But then she gets in her car and calls him. So even though they right there with each other, they talking on the phone, and she's like, first of all, don't ever talk to me like that in front of them because I don't want them in my business. Oh, but you in everybody else's business giving your bullshit opinions, though. You can be in everybody else's business and you can talk your shit, but you don't want nobody in your business because your business is just as crazy as everybody else's. See, that's why I can't stand Esperanza. She be on that bullshit. But then she tells him that, I'm on my way home, and the porch light will be on. And all of a sudden, Steven's like, the porch light will be on? Are you saying, I'm like, read between the lines, baby. She's letting you know that, you can come over. So we actually see that he does come over, and trust and believe, she wanted to meet, and she wanted Steven all up in her because homegirl was giving Victoria's Secret catalog when he came up, to that door, and she was just stretched out like literally. That's exactly what Esperanza was getting, just literally. But baby was bad though. I mean, Esperanza, no BS. She had a bomb body and she's gorgeous. Baby was working it. And she had on the heels. I'm like, oh yeah, she is ready to mount on Steven. But yet they play this little role play thing, and she's like, well, the one thing that intrigued me about you is that you didn't run from Eddie. I really, and that she really is trying to be very controlling of the situation because she lets him know that Eddie has run off every boyfriend she has had for years. But she said that what intrigued her about him is that Eddie, you didn't run from Eddie. And he was like, heck no, I don't run from Eddie. And he was saying that, look, I've always liked you. You knew. And she does because, Esperanza definitely knows that, Steven has liked her. But she's like, well, why didn't you make your move? And she says, out of respect for you. It wasn't because of Eddie's ass. So then she starts turning into dominatrix, tells him that we're going to do this on my terms. When I want you, you will come. When I say jump, you will say how high. And then the next thing you know, she tells him to get on his knees, and he begins to smell the cat. And she starts moaning, and I'm like, oh Lord. So finally, her and Stevens then got it in. And then the next morning, she's all getting dressed, telling him, trying to rush him, you gotta go, get up out of here. You know, don't be looking at me funny at work. As a matter of fact, don't even talk to me at work, and don't do this and don't do that. And he's like, you really think you can boss me around, huh? You really think you that good? And she's like, I know I'm that good. And she was like, okay, you are, but so am I. And she's like, I've had better. And she's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You lying. It's like, how you know I'm lying? It's like, because you smiling. You always smile like that when you're lying. I was like, you better read her, Steven. Get her ass together. Everybody know Esperanza full of shit. And it was cool that he kind of let it be known, like, girl, I know I turned you out. And I know you loving what I'm giving you. So, yeah, I'm loving what you doing, but I know I'm doing just as good. So we a match. So we saw that go down, but then it was like, girl, really? Here it is. You now trying to rush him out. If you was trying to rush him out, why let him stay the night? You should have just, after you had fun, you should have sent them home. Just saying. Then we get a scene with Kelly and Ian. You know, we definitely see that Kelly is still distraught. She's still shaken up. And we see that Ian, because they're Kelly and Ian are at Lucian's house, and then we see Lucian and Ian starts talking, and he's saying that, look, I hate this, but I can't represent Kelly. Larry represents Travis' family, so it will be a conflict of interest. And he was saying, so Kelly's gonna have to get another lawyer. And Lucian's like, well, can you refer someone? He's like, yeah, but those are our competition. So, you're just going to have to find another lawyer. And he was saying that, look, because if anything, Larry will have a fit if he finds out that I'm representing her. And then all of a sudden, he's like, okay, so, but before he asks it, so therefore when he mentions Larry, he's like, yo, Lucian's like, okay, tell me something, Ian. What do you know about Larry? He says, like, I worked with him for 15 years. I know everything about him. He's like, well, do you know of him to be into S&M? And he's like, well, I've heard things. I'm cool with him professionally, but I don't really deal with his private life. But I've heard that him and his wife are known to throw those kind of, parties. But he's like, well, why'd you ask? He's like, are you? And like Lucian's like, oh hell no, I ain't asking for me. I'm asking because he just got into a situation with this bad cop named Eddie. He done strapped Eddie up and all that. And me knowing Eddie and how Eddie operates, Eddie is not going to take this lying down, and he's not going to be the one that's going to let it go. And he's saying, well, honestly, I'm going to be real with you. He done met his match with Larry because Larry is just as conniving and is just as ruthless. So if anything, and on top of it, Larry is a control freak, which is why I can't represent Kelly anymore. So we see that go on. And pretty much the next day, Kelly has to make her statement to the police, and Lucian is going to actually take her to the station to do it. Alright, so I already talked about that. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Brad and Alex. And I am going to roast Alex's ass in this episode because Alex makes me sick. So pretty much Alex comes downstairs. You can definitely tell there's still some tension between her and Brad. Obviously he still feels some kind of way because he thinks that Alex went over there to tell Randall about Marcy being pregnant. She's saying that I didn't say it, why don't you believe me? And, are you going to do this every time? You know, I don't understand this, and I'm just looking at this bitch like, Alex, this is why I cannot stand her ass. Alex never wants to take responsibility for her shit. Bitch, you were having a sexual relationship with your neighbor in the shed under his nose. Yes, he's back into your life, but just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you forget. Meaning trust, you have to re-earn that. And it really makes me mad with this bitch because she continues to try to play the victim. What, you're going to do this every time? You know, I thought, like, we're here and you should believe me. Why would I lie? Like, yeah, why would you lie? I mean, after all, you lied before. You was lying to this man for months. I mean, and you was such a slut, he didn't even have enough courtesy to take you to a hotel. He just bent you over in a dirty shed and was literally tearing you up every chance he got. You don't think that still plays in Brad's head? So Brad ain't gonna believe that you're not still dealing with him, or if things arise, he's gonna always have that third eye with you because you already have proven that you're not trustworthy. Stupid. So we saw that go on. Then we actually see that Marcy and Ian, you know, they're talking on the phone. You know, she pretty much asks Ian about Larry, like, but then she also tells him that, you know, the inspection on the house, you know, and he pretty much says that, yeah, we can try to close this week. So we see that Ian is going to buy the house that's literally right across the street from Kelly, which is going to be interesting because I think this may play out later on, and I'm going to get to that. So she asks him about Larry, you know, and she tells him that, look, he was supposed to have been representing me in my divorce, but the other night I saw him at my house, you know, with my ex-husband, and he was drunk or whatever, and it was just very strange. Yeah, because it's strange because, you know, Larry and Randall are a bunch of fun boys, but you still don't know the man you married. She really don't know how sinister and sick Randall really is. You know, and she actually asks him, is the reason why I asked him, to represent me because I know he's a great attorney, but is there something about, where your lawyer, breaking privilege and all of that? So if anything, she says, so pretty much, Ian says he'll get back to her. But what she ends up doing is that she ends up calling Larry. We see Larry is knocked out asleep on Randall's couch, and we see that she calls Larry, but Randall answers the phone, and he's like, so she's like, so pretty much the phone answers. She means like, why the hell did you tell him that I was pregnant? So all of a sudden Randall's like, so you are pregnant. And she's like, what the hell are you doing on Larry's phone? Put Larry on the damn phone. And she's like, so you're pregnant? And she's like, yes, I am. Why? Does that bother you? And he starts really saying like, well, I know that how your body is and how it was hard for you to conceive a child, so maybe you might want to, slow up on everything. I would hate for you to have high blood pressure. And all of a sudden I see Psycho Betty again with his bitch tendencies. That's why I said he can't call Eddie Betty. Randall has gotten the name Psycho Betty all on his own, and I proudly call him Psycho Betty because his bitch tendencies are insane. Like, he's up here taunting this woman. He won't give her a divorce. He just wants her around so he can continue to torture and bully her. And it just goes to show, like, yo, Psycho Betty has some serious psychological bitch tendencies, as I said. So pretty much, they go back and forth, and then after he hangs up, Randall is pissed because now he knows Larry lied to him. So we see that what ends up happening, Randall goes into the kitchen, gets a bucket of water, like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. He fetched a pail of water and threw the damn water on Larry and woke his ass up, and he said, "You lied. Like, I just talked to her. She is pregnant." And he's saying that, no, that's not what it's like. "You're lying!" And then like they go back and forth, and then it gets to a point where Randall gets in Larry's face. He's like, "Get the hell out of my house." So he says, okay, he's still hungover. So Larry gets in the car, and once he gets in the car, he calls Marcy, and he's like, and all of a sudden Marcy's like, "What the?" And she's like, "Hello," and she's like, because at first she goes off like, "Randall, leave me the hell alone." He's like, "No, it's Larry," and she's like, "Oh. So, what the hell are you doing going over there telling him I'm pregnant?" And he was like, "Look, I didn't tell him you were pregnant. It slipped, but I actually, didn't say you personally. I was actually trying to say about Alex, but he just went on the..." He's like, "You know what? What the hell were you doing over there hanging out with him anyway? You know what? I'm too over. I'm like over this shit. Consider yourself fired." So she done fired him as her lawyer, as she should have, because he on that bullshit. Then we get a scene with Brad and Randall, because now Larry done left, and Marcy fired his ass, which she should have, because his ass wasn't supposed to have been telling nothing about the case to Randall at all. Randall comes out, and we see that Brad is sitting on the porch. He's on the sidewalk, and he's talking big shit like, "Oh, so it's like, so she's pregnant, huh? She's pregnant with your baby?" And then Brad was like, "Yeah. She's like, "Oh, so she told you, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, she did." I was like, "Oh shit, Brad, I'm so here for it." And then all of a sudden, Randall starts talking about something. "Oh yeah, Alex told me she was pregnant, and me and Alex still seeing each other. But me being a man, I'm not gonna hide this from you. I'm just gonna be upfront and let you know that Alex still be coming through time and time again, and all this shit." And you can see it's really starting to piss Brad off, because it's definitely building on that tension that is already there between him and Alex. And now Randall goofing off, talking shit, even though he's lying, he's still making it like, "Look, she still comes through every now and again. I just talked to her just recently, so I just think you as being a man, you should know." And all of a sudden, we see that, Brad ain't having it. He's like, "Look, you know what? You got one more time to fuck with me, Randall. So get the fuck off my property." He's like, "Well, technically I'm on the sidewalk, so I'm not on your property." And then he's like, you just keep continuing to do shit, and you thought that ladder was one thing. What I got for you next is gonna be far worse. And he's like, "So what is it? You just go around just fucking with people, like putting sugar in Marcy's tank?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Wow. It's just like your immaturity is just unbelievable." And then he's like, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not done with that, and I'm not done at all." And then Randall walks off. I'm like, "Randall, you ain't gonna be happy till you in a box dead." Because I'm like, you're going to have to kill Randall. Because Randall, Psycho Betty is so in her shit, it's like nobody matters but her. So, So we see, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But first, let me talk about one of the meat of this episode. Because now we know who Larry really is. And I'm going to say it right here and right now for everybody. Larry is a treacherous piece of shit. Because we get a scene between Ian and Larry. Ian comes in, Larry is hung over, because we know he was up, drinking and having S&M fun with Randall, so he's completely screwed up. And all of a sudden, Ian lets him know that, Travis Kane got shot last night. The family's about to do a press conference, and he's like, what the hell is wrong with you, Larry? You're not 19 anymore. He's like, man, whatever, man. But then he said that, so he's like, so who shot him? And he was like, his ex-girlfriend. He's like, oh, Kelly? Oh, yeah, I know about her. We took care of her real good. So we now know Larry was behind Travis getting that restraining order in before Kelly could get hers in. But Ian pretty much says that, you may have, because now we know that's how Travis was able to get that restraining order in before she was able to do hers, because he had Larry representing them, and Larry is one of the top lawyers in that scene. So Ian drops the bomb and was like, we got proof right here. She wasn't stalking him. He was stalking her. There was a tracking device on his car which proved around her house 46 times in one day. And there was proof that he hacked her account, acted as her husband, and was making a lot of, taking out a lot of loans and deals using her money. So we got the meat and potatoes that this guy was literally torturing the hell out of Kelly, and he's worse than his brother. Larry looked at this shit and was like, oh, okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to bury this shit. And Ian is like, what do you mean, man? She's innocent. And then Larry's like, and when did we ever give a shit about that? I was like, oh, you evil bastard. You know this girl was innocent the whole time, and yet you're representing them because they put millions in your firm. So we all see right there, he's all about money, he's all about power. And we see that this is really starting to tug at Ian a certain way because he's gotten to know Kelly, and he's seeing all the hell and the turmoil she's going through. So he said that, what you gonna do, telling Ian, what you gonna do, you gonna bury this shit, and you gonna keep it moving. And he was like, but I was representing her. And he's like, yeah, and now you're not. And again, don't forget who owns this firm. But he's like, but I'm your partner, man. Like, yeah, but I'm a senior partner, and I own the firm. Don't forget that shit. Because if this don't go away, you don't want to know how I'm going to feel afterwards. So, you're going to do what I say. You're going to bury this crap, and we're going to represent our client. So Ian is like, okay, fine, I'll get rid of it. He's like, I know you are. I'm like, I don't know. I think Ian may pull a stunt and try to actually defend Kelly anyway. But we're going to see. I mean, he's moving right across the street from her, so we're going to see what's going to happen with that situation. But we really saw Ian was disgusted that he knows that this girl is innocent, and yet you're going to railroad her and make her go to prison when all she did was defend herself. So, but yeah, in that scene, we really got to see that, Larry's a piece of shit. So then we see that Kelly is at Lucian's house. She's looking outside and she was like, wow, it's such a beautiful day. it's almost as if like last night didn't even happen. And right now, Justice doesn't know anything, but eventually Justice is going to find out because Justice is nebby as hell. So Justice eventually going to ask some questions. So we see that Lucian actually takes Kelly to the station, and, you know, he lets her know, you do not talk until you have a lawyer. Because she's still thinking that she's still thinking that Ian is supposed to come. She doesn't know that Ian can't represent her because, you know, the firm he works for represents Travis' family. Lucian didn't tell her that, but he's saying that, look, we're just going to find you a lawyer. She's like, because, well, if anything, he doesn't tell her that Ian dropped her. So he's kind of playing along. She's like, you know, could you call my lawyer and have him come? But he lets her know, do not say anything until you have a lawyer present. Next thing you know, we get the damn DA comes up in there, and she says, I'm not saying anything without my lawyer. And he says, that's fine, you don't have to, because you are under arrest for the murder of Travis Kane. So we just got word Travis is dead. So, and Kelly is being arrested for his murder. So that's where the episode ended. I'm like, Tyler Perry, you better come through with this shit. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, this was a really good episode, and I was like, yo. So Travis is dead. Travis is dead. And I've been wanting Travis to die for the longest, but shout out to Denzel Wells. He was a really good actor, and he was really playing the hell out of this role because I hated Travis from the balls of me. I could not stand his ass. So Denzel Wells definitely played that role. But yeah, I'm so glad that Travis is dead. So now we're going to see what's going to happen with Kelly involving this case and also going against Travis' family, because they got a lot of pull in that scene. So you know they're going to be doing some crazy shit. And we also saw that Larry told Ian to get rid of the evidence which proved that Kelly was innocent and that Kelly acted, you know, in her own self-defense as to why she killed Travis. We're going to see what's going to happen with that one. But that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. They're listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of If Loving You Is Wrong. So until then, everybody, take care.